안녕하세요, 올리버쌤입니다. 여러분은 뉴스 기사를 볼 때 어떤 기사를 열심히 보세요? 제가 요즘 심각하게 보는 기사는 바로 한국 교관이랑 관련된 기사입니다. 요즘 선생님들은 학생들한테 무시당하고 폭행 그리고 고소당하는 뉴스까지 많이 나오고 있잖아요. 아시는 분은 아시겠지만 저도 한국 학교에서 7년 동안 근무한 적이 있어요. 중학교랑 초등학교에서 일했었거든요. 그래서 이런 뉴스 나올 때 저는 특히 관심이 많아요. 근데 여러분 궁금하지 않으세요? 미국에도 이런 문제가 있을까요? 있다면 미국 선생님들은 어떻게 이런 문제를 해결할까요? 그래서 오늘 영상에서 특별한 게스트를 모셨어요. 사실 이분은 제 영상에서 자주 나온 친구 셋의 어머니인데요. 실제로 학교에서 오랜 경력을 쌓으신 선생님이랍니다.
I was a first grade teacher back in 85 to 89, and then I stayed home with my children, and then I went back to work in 99. I taught 5th grade. I taught 5th grade science and I taught 5th grade math. And then I moved back to first grade and finished it. So I had 24 years experience of teaching. So yeah.
So you're a veteran basically.
Yeah,
You've got a lot
sorta,
of experience.
yeah, sorta, yeah. I love children. I love the little ones because they're so eager to learn. And then whenever the light bulb comes on and they get the concept, they are so excited that they love to learn. So.
You sound like you were the perfect teacher.
No, not perfect,
okay.
but I tried.
Close.
Yeah.
But you had the perfect attitude.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I loved it. I loved teaching.
지금은 은퇴하셨지만 선생님이라는 직업을 진심으로 사랑하셨다고 말하는 제이니 선생님. 그래도 힘들게 하는 학생이 있으셨을 텐데요.
Let's say you did have a student that was causing trouble. What were some of the things that you would do to try to resolve those issues?
What I would do is, if they like to play on iPads, I would tell them, okay, you get this done, and when you get this done, then you can have 15 minutes on the iPad.
Oh, okay.
Or you can have extra recess, or something like that. Yeah, I would try to, think of something that they liked, that, they would enjoy doing, and then I could get them to do a lot of stuff by just rewarding them.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I know, that particular school district is, I guess you could say, it's more of a small town school, so I would assume there weren't very many issues with discipline problems or...
No, we had some kids that were special ed or had special needs and stuff. And that would be I remember I had one little boy that was autistic.
Okay.
And you just had to know what triggered him. He did not like girls with ponytails.
Oh.
And if somebody walked in, he would go over and, jerk their hair down. But, you just learned what triggered him, and then you just kind of steered him away from it. Yeah, and just helped him to be successful.
What if that special needs child tended to be violent? What would happen in that
Yes,
case?
I've had that. I've had them where they would throw chairs across the room. Yes, and so we would have to call the principal or the vice principal, and they would come down and they would remove them from the classroom and just put them in timeout until they settled down, or if they liked it where it was dark, they would just turn the lights off, let them sit in there, calm down, and then they would say, okay, are you ready to go back? And then they would bring them back into the classroom, and then if they were disruptive, they knew that they had to leave the classroom. And a lot of times they don't want to leave because, they like being with their friends.
So in cases where a student was actually physically removed from the classroom, did you ever get complaints from the parents saying, oh, that's not fair, or anything like that, or did they just understand?
No, they did. Some of them did. And I would also have complaints of other parents that their kids were in there because, they were afraid that, they would be violent towards them.
Oh,
but most parents that have those kind of children, they understand and they know. And, that's why communication is so important to have with parents. So you can just send a little email and say, hey, this is what happened. And they're very supportive at home because, they might get in trouble at home if they misbehave at school,
최대한 체벌 없이 부모님과의 소통을 통해 학생을 이해하며 교육을 해왔다는 제이니 선생님. 그래도 미국 학교가 학생을 무조건 봐주기만 하는 곳은 아닙니다.
They put them in in-school suspension.
In-school suspension.
They would have a teacher, or they would have an aide or a volunteer that they would, like a substitute teacher, and they would have a place, and they would, depending on how bad it was, if it was like 3 days, 4 days, or maybe a week, they would put them in there. And and all day long, they did not get to have any association with other kids, and we, the teachers, had to get work for them to do all day long. So they went, got their lunches, they had to go bring their lunches back to their little room that they were at. They had to eat their lunches there. They didn't get to go to PE or anything. They would take them outside when none of the other kids were out there and just let them play around because, you know, but
문제 아이를 격리시키고 혼자 외롭게 시간을 보내게 한다는 격리 교실 제도. 이 제도를 듣고 어떤 분들은 아동 학대 아닌가? 한국에서는 정신적인 학대로 신고할 수도 있을 것 같은데 하고 생각하실 수도 있을 것 같은데요.
What if like a parent said, no, I don't want my kid to go through that? I mean, did they have any power?
They would suspend them. They would suspend them for 3 days out of school. The parent had to come get them. They could not return to anything on the school, nothing. And a lot of times if we had kids act up on the bus, they would kick them off the bus. And they would make, the parents were responsible for getting them to and from school. Yeah. So if the parent didn't want it, was bad enough, they would just say, hey, okay, well then come get your child for 3 days.
You deal with it.
Yes, that's more or less, yeah. Let us deal with it the way we want to, or you come get them and you deal with it.
그렇게 미국 학교에는 단호한 선이 있다고 대답하신 제이니 선생님. 동시에 한국의 상황은 어떤지 궁금해 하시는데요.
When I first got to Korea, I think it was 2010, they still had corporal punishment. And I don't think they had like waivers or anything like that. And I witnessed kids getting not like beat up by the teachers, but the teachers would like line them up and they would have like a ruler or something and have them either like lift up their pants to where they can hit them on their like calf or something like, or their hand or stuff like that. It wasn't severe, but the kids didn't like it. But then a few years later, I guess the government they banned corporal punishment completely. But the problem was they didn't have an alternative. So from that moment on, I started noticing that the kids were acting up more and more, and they lost the fear of their teacher's ability to punish them. And I had one kid actually threaten the teacher, saying he was going to call the police if she even looked like she was gonna hit him or even grab him or something like that. And from that moment on, I noticed more and more of that kind of behavior going on with the students. And so I think from that point on, it really, the ball got rolling for what's going on right now. Like right now, it's just between the students, teachers, and the parents. There's just so much conflict right now. And I remember my last couple of years working at a school. At the teacher meetings I would go to, there were teachers just in tears, like just almost bawling because they were so stressed out from the parents. And I remember one teacher, I think one day she passed out and hit her head.
Oh my God.
And she was out for about a week, and then she came right back, and it was all mostly due to the parents.
The stress of them.
Yeah, and I think part of it had to do with parents contacting them like just non-stop. Yeah, non-stop, just pestering them any hours of the day, stuff like that. So
you can tell parents that are not supportive of the teacher and their kids get wind of that, then they know that, you know what, you can't do anything to me, so I can do and say whatever I want to. You know, when the kids find out that the parents badmouth you in the home, then you've lost it, the respect or anything.
맞고 또 맞는 말입니다. 부모님이 먼저 선생님을 존중해야 학생이 선생님을 따른다는 말씀. 존중을 잃으면 선생님은 모든 것을 잃는 셈인데요. 그런 경우 미국 선생님은 어떤 보호를 받을 수 있을까요?
There are cases where a parent will sue the teacher for not properly greeting their child in the morning, or sue them for like, for example, I guess calling them out in class, like they say that's psychological abuse, stuff like that. So I think it's really out of control, like just the power that the parents have.
We have a lawyer that is for the school district. So, you know, if you have problems or something, you know, and we belong to a group and we have access to lawyers.
Oh, that's
and
good.
stuff.
So you do have those resources.
Yes, you do.
그럼 학생이 선생님에게 폭행을 가하는 경우에는 어떻게 될까요?
But it was a little special ed kid that broke a teacher's finger.
Ouch.
He bent it backwards and broke it. But we have SRO officers on our campuses, and so they come in. And I know at the high school, if there's like zero tolerance for like fighting and stuff, they will write them a ticket.
Oh, right.
The SRO officer will write them a ticket, or they will get in-school suspension, or they will get, you know, sent to the other school to serve time for whatever they did. Yeah. I think where I taught, it was not tolerated.
자, 여러분 오늘 영상 어땠어요? 네, 미국 학교는 좀 많이 다르죠? 좀 더 엄격한 편이라고 해야 되나요? 그래도 오늘 영상을 통해서 여러분들한테 미국 학교는 완벽하다, 한국 학교보다 좋다, 이런 메시지를 드리려고 하는 건 아닙니다. 미국 학교도 문제도 있고 미국 선생님들도 스트레스 많이 받고 계시는 것 같아요. 근데 차이가 있다면 확실히 미국에서 체벌 대신에 쓸 수 있는 방법 여러 개 있는 것 같아요. 굉장히 효과적인 방법들이에요. 그리고 선생님들은 아직까지 스스로 보호할 수 있는 방법이 많은 것 같아요. 네, 그건 확실히 큰 차이가 있어요. 여러분은 미국식 방법에 대해서 어떻게 생각하세요? 좋은 것 같아요? 너무 엄격한 것 같아요? 네, 댓글로 좀 알려주세요. 궁금합니다. 그리고 오늘의 표현 bad mouth, 이건 나쁜 입 혹은 뭐 입냄새랑 관련된 표현 아니에요. 이건 사람에 대해서 욕할 때 쓰는 표현이에요. bad mouth. 네, 제니 선생님이 학부모님이 아이 앞에서 선생님에 대해서 bad mouth 하면 그 아이가 자동으로 선생님에 대한 존중심 같은 거 하나도 없어진다고 하셨잖아요. 네, 저는 개인적으로 그거 진짜 맞는 말이라고 생각해요. So don't badmouth your teachers. 언젠가 한국 선생님들이 교권을 되찾고 학생들, 학부모님들, 그리고 선생님들도 즐거운 학교 생활을 할 수 있었으면 좋겠어요. 네, 오늘의 표현은 영상 마지막에 있으니까 꼭 복습하세요. 그리고 선생님들, 학생들, 학부모님들 파이팅! 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 그럼 다음에 봐요. 빠잉! 오늘의 표현 험담하다, badmouth. You shouldn't badmouth teachers in front of your kid. You shouldn't badmouth teachers in front of your kid. Mike is always badmouthing people around him. Mike is always bad-mouthing people around him. I caught my best friend bad-mouthing me. I caught my best friend bad-mouthing me. Bad-mouthing people is a terrible habit. Bad-mouthing people is a terrible habit.